Hey, this is Rick with Outdoor Emergencies at hikingemergencybeacon.com, and today is the second battery test of my Garmin inReach Mini 2, and this one I just ran 24/7 with the GNSS mode instead of the GPS mode, and I'll tell you all about it. But before I do, please like, subscribe, share, and turn on notifications so you'll be alerted as soon as I put out new videos. Now, the first test, it lost around 7% of the battery per day. I tested it 3 days, about 72 hours. I might have made a mistake and said it was 30 something hours, but it was really 72, 73 hours. It was 3 days, lost to 7% a day. On this test, I ran it for 4 days. It lost 6.5% a day. It ran around 96 hours. It dropped to around 73% after 4 days. So 6.5% a day, it would have lasted about 15 days. I figured my first test in the GPS mode that it would last 14 to 15 days. I'm actually really surprised that this one here was only showing it would last 15 days, and give or take some potential for error here, they really lasted about the same amount of time. On the Garmin GPS Map 67i, it lasted, when I did the GNSS mode versus GPS mode, for my calculations and the test that I did, it would have lasted like 2.5 days longer. That's not the case with the Mini 2 that I've just seen. Maybe it lasts that extra half a day, maybe a day. But again, this is not a controlled scientific test. It's just me turning this on, checking to see how it works. Now, again, I'll tell you real fast. I just set it up in the window. I did not go out and use it during this 4 days. It just sat there with about a quarter to a third view of the sky, and in basically default mode from Garmin, and but the difference was it was a GNSS mode versus GPS. So not a whole lot to say here. I'm actually surprised that it didn't get a lot better battery life or was a lot worse on the battery life. In fact, I've got this all backwards. My calculations show from the first test that the GPS mode would have lasted, what, 14.5 to 15 days. With the GNSS mode, I'm showing it lasts about 15 days. That's a better result than GPS. So all I'm going to say here truly is go out and test, because you really need to know how well your device is going to do. And what I've just found here, one, the battery's going to work great in either mode. I'm a little bit surprised that it looks like it might have got a little better battery life in the GNSS mode. But again, that's what you have to do. You need to go test. If you go out and just test one time and you see the battery is living up to what Garmin says, then you don't need to run a lot of tests. I'm doing this for all of you to really test and see how well it does compared to what Garmin says. Again, 15 days on either mode, I'm happy, and it does really good. It's a really good satellite communicator. It's one of my top two. This inReach Mini 2, along with the Garmin GPS Map 67i, are my two favorite satellite communicators. The 66i, forget it. The battery was horrible on it. But the 67i has a good battery. But back to the Mini 2, it did a really good job. I really couldn't tell much of a difference at all between the GPS mode and the GNSS mode. The next test that I'm going to do is I'm going to go out for a long drive. I'm going to put this up in my window in my truck. I'm going to drive through the Rocky Mountains here for probably 7, 8 hours, 9 hours. I'm going to have it on 2-minute tracking. I'm going to have it be able to send to the map share. I'm going to leave the screen on, and if I can change the brightness, I will make the brightness be like 80%. I'm not sure I can do that. I'll double check. I was able to do that with the 67i. But the screen will always be on. It'll be a 2-minute tracking, and it'll be on the brightest mode possible. And I'll show you screenshots of all of that here in the next 3 or 4 days. But hang on, keep an eye out for that, and we'll be looking at that test here shortly, actually on Sunday in about 2 days. And then the fourth test, there may be more, but the fourth test right now is going to be in expedition mode. So that's it. It's surprising for me, the results today. Still a good battery life in both modes. But if you have any questions or comments, or you see something different with your Mini 2, or you'd like me to test something a little different, please leave a comment, let me know. And please like, subscribe, share, and turn on notifications so you'll be alerted as soon as I put out new videos. And if you'd like to support Hiking Emergency Beacon, there's a link in the description below. And I'll see you back out here in the next video.